Great. Thanks for your time, Juliette.
No problem.
It's been a little while since we last spoke. How's everything going? What you been up to?
Yeah, everything is good, thanks. Just training really. Still in fight camp, so we've got 4 weeks now until my fight. 12th of March at York Hall. So just upping the training really, training as much as I can. That's training, going to work, and then trying to fit in seeing my family and getting a bit of chill time in as and when I can. But that's not a lot's changed really since then, just training hard.
How do you fit in the other responsibilities? So when you mention family, obviously a lot of fighters, obviously people got different ways of handling it. Some will cut family off. I remember Rocky Marciano, he used to go away to camp for weeks at a time. I saw a story of one of the Charlo brothers apparently, I don't know, beat up one of his cousins, which isn't very nice. But take yourself, how do you deal with real life, friends, family? How do you balance it?
It's definitely a struggle. Luckily, my parents don't live too far. They're only sort of a 20-minute drive from where I live. So I sort of see them for a little bit at the weekends because I go over to their house at the weekend and walk the dog. So I sort of see them for an hour or so on a Saturday and Sunday morning before training. And that's when I see them. And I don't really get to see my grandparents that often. So my nan's about a half hour, 45-minute drive away. So I thought today I'd make the time, as I wasn't doing anything this afternoon, I'd make the time and sort of spend the time with her. And then luckily my boyfriend's pretty understanding. I probably see him the least out of everyone. A quick hi when I come through the door at night. And then, have dinner and go to bed. It is hard trying to fit everything in, but everyone's pretty understanding, and I try and see people here and there every so often. But it's just one of those things you have to sacrifice really in camp, which is unfortunate, but then try and make it up outside of camp and go out for dinner with people and spend some more time with them when I can.
I guess, obviously it's one of the challenges of boxing, but obviously you've got a goal in mind. We mentioned the other day, I messaged you, you were saying that I asked you, where do you see yourself going? You'd love to try and get to the top of your division and become a world champion. I'll put it to you in a very logical way. I won't tell you you haven't got the talent, which is probably what a lot of people in boxing will say. They say you haven't got the talent. I'll put it to you in a very logical way. I sparred Sandy Ryan in 2014. I thought I could take her because every other woman I've sparred was easy. But listen, she was quite tough. She beat me up, to be honest. The way I would explain it, if you're going to try and get to the top of boxing where you've had a short amateur career, you compared to a lot of these other female fighters, they've had a lot more practice than you. So logically, they're going to be ahead of you. So I'd say forget, nothing to do with talent. I'd say it's going to be difficult to catch up on that. I'm not saying you can't do it, but because they've had so much more practice and so much more fights, it's going to take a lot of effort to catch up to that. How do you what do you intend to do about it? To give you ideas, do you feel you could live a harder lifestyle than them? Do you feel you could have more fights as fight more regular? What sort of ideas have you got?
Yeah, I know it's going to be hard and I'm going to have to play catch up, but I'm in no hurry. I would like my end goal to be world champion, but I mean, people like Sandy Ryan who have the experience and have the talent, she can fast track her career and probably fight for a world title in less fights than what I can. I'm under no illusions there. I'm not trying to, get there, like say within a couple of years, I want to be fighting for a world title. That's my end goal. I want to fight regularly, try and get out at least 4 times a year, maybe more. It depends on getting opponents, and just do loads of rounds of sparring as well. I mean, I have to learn on the job, so try and get in as much sparring I can with the boys down the gym. I train as much as I can with my coach, Andy, and we're always going through techniques and things to learn. And there's the age I was saying, isn't there? Like hard work beats talent. You can be a talented boxer, but if you're not putting in the hard work, your talent will only get you so far. There's no reason why, if I keep working hard and I keep learning, why I can't get there. It's going to be hard. I know it's going to be a struggle, and I'm going to have to really put in the graft and work hard and do a lot of learning. But I mean, if I've got the ambition and I've got the right team behind me, my coach can take me there, then yeah, in 5 years time, let's hope.
Yeah. Also, I don't want to overload you with information. We'll see how it goes. But as I said, I think it can be done. Like, I wouldn't lie to fighters, but yeah, if I was trying to do it, you just have to live a much harder lifestyle than them. That's what I'd say. I say get around, try and spar as many of them as possible, and yeah, study them. Like I know Hannah Rankin and Sandy, they were sparring Clarissa Shields recently. So I'd say, yeah, try and get into those situations, see what they're like, and then gauge for yourself. Watch them. What are they doing in training? How much, what are they training much harder than I am, etc., etc. But obviously, you see how it goes. What kind of fights have you been watching recently? I was at the media week for Eubank Williams. I got a chance to meet Clarissa Shields. I couldn't get the interview, but I did meet her. You been watching any fights recently?
I did watch the Clarissa Shields fight. I watched that one. I didn't watch the Chris Eubank Jr. fights. I think I went out for dinner with friends, so that was the sacrifice made. I didn't watch the boxing, and I thought I'll just go out and see some friends instead. What else has been on? Have I watched any others? I don't think I have, to be honest. To be honest, I haven't. I did watch the Clarissa Shields fight because I was interested in that one. And I don't think I've watched any others, because boxing has become so much my life, and I know it's good to watch fights and learn, but sometimes it's nice to switch off from it a little bit and watch something that my boyfriend wants to watch, rather than like overloading him with boxing as well. So I will probably watch some more fights, but I'll probably catch them on YouTube or something. And when I've got a bit of time on the train, I like to switch my brain off from it all for a little bit, rather than sort of like overload myself. So boxing completely consumes my life. It's nice to watch something else.
Oh, that's all right.
But yeah, I watched the Clarissa Shields fight because I was interested in watching that to see how she'd do. Because obviously there's the prospect of her fighting Savannah Marshall, hopefully at some point this year, fingers crossed.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it happens by about summertime, so we'll see how that goes. Obviously you don't want to get overloaded by boxing, but what do you do outside of boxing? Obviously, I know you discussed work, and there's a lot of stuff I'm working on outside of boxing, but how about yourself? Are you trying to build a life outside of boxing?
Yeah, so I've started doing a personal training course. So to help me learn myself about training, but maybe, sort of do that on the side, a bit of personal training, and a nutrition course as well. So I find the nutrition aspect really interesting. Yeah, I've always been into nutrition when I was at uni. I found it really interesting. So yeah, I'm trying to do that on the side, do a bit of like home learning, a bit of, the PT and nutrition course. And then I was going out in the countryside for walks. That's what I've been doing, just walking the dog and going out and seeing the horse. Just trying to be outside and out the house as much as I can. Yeah, it's a bit boring being inside. I'm not very good at sitting still and resting, to be honest. Okay. I need to rest more, obviously, to recover, but I struggle to sit inside. So I like going out and, being outside, walking the dog. That's what I've been doing, and a bit of artwork here and there. I like painting, so I've been doing a little bit of painting.
That's cool. Did you obviously, when you mentioned dog, have you seen the recent news about the West Ham footballer Zuma? You know what I'm talking about?
The guy with the cat?
The guy with a cat.
Oh, don't get me started on that.
I'm going to ask you about it, but I would say I'm not an emotional person. I give very rational, I can control my emotions. I did a quick video about it. So my advice for what it's worth, when you give your opinion on it, I'd say try and rise above it. Don't be emotional about it. And okay, the quickest way I'll give my point of view, I just said, I think he should be punished. I think I would even like to see a criminal conviction. But if I could interview him someday, which I'd like to do, I'd be polite, but I just say, but I don't understand what's funny about kicking around the cat. I mean, with me, look, I box, I get in the ring with flipping people like Kell Brook. I didn't last very long, but yeah, I mean, I don't know if you want to fight or whatever, just go to a UFC, an MMA gym, a boxing ring, or do something challenging. I don't see what's cool about kicking around the cats, So what's your position on it? How would you?
Yeah, like animal abuse is one thing that really, really makes my blood boil. I cannot stand it. I mean, it's an animal. It can't do anything to defend itself. And you, as someone who knows right from wrong, is kicking a cat across your kitchen for whatever reason. Like, there's not an okay reason to treat an animal in that way. And then in the video, it looked like there was a child, like, I don't know if it's his kid or someone's kid, when he's hitting the cat. To show that that's okay to a child it's not all right. Yeah, it would be interesting to know why they think that's okay and that's acceptable, and what the reasoning behind it is. Yeah, it's just animal abuse. Whenever I see something about animal abuse, it just really gets at me, because at the end of the day, animals can't really defend themselves. Like a cat, and you're picking it up and throwing it and kicking it. I don't get why you would do that. What goes through someone's head to think that that's an acceptable thing to do? Yeah. I don't want to get, like you say, I don't want to get too emotional, because all our dogs we've had have been rescue dogs.
Okay.
And they've obviously must have been like abused in the past, because you have to be careful with them because they react to certain things. Yeah, it's not kind.
No, it's not. It's not.
No, I just, yeah, for someone who's like, I'm quite a caring and kind person, it's yeah. I did an animal science degree at uni, so like I really love animals, and there's something I'm passionate about. And like they say, I mean, I'm not saying this is where he's going to go, but animal abuse is like a step before like assaulting humans. Like it can easily lead into that, and then he's abusing an animal in front of a child. So what's that child going to learn? It's okay to abuse animals, and then maybe they'll go to school and bully someone. Like spiraling out of control in my mind here, but you never know what could happen. Just, yeah, it's not okay.
No, obviously I completely agree. And as I said, I wouldn't get emotional about it, but I just think the world's full of a lot of dumb, stupid people, and like what we touched on before, the YouTube comments, like when people slag me off in my own comments, but this is exactly, it doesn't bother me. I don't know who you are. If we was to actually come face to face, I've met so many stupid people in my life. There's a homeless man that I always see, and it's like this guy, he just won't let you buy him food. It's always give me money, give me money. I'm like, nah, mate, you ain't I'll buy you whatever you want. I'll buy you KFC, and he won't take my money. So he won't accept food. He just says, give me coins, give me. So that's how I look at, as we're talking about. There's a lot of dumb people in life. I can't, unless I actually meet you face to face, I can't gauge what you're about. That just is what it is. It's something.
Yeah, it's a lot of ignorance and people who are not educated on everything. But yeah, people are just ignorant and don't want to learn, who don't want to know certain things, and just are happy to live in their mind and think what they view as an opinion is correct.
And I would say briefly, the whole thing about what happened with the cat, But I just think obviously I just think it's cowardice. It's quite easy to attack someone much smaller and weaker than yourself.
Yeah.
Obviously, if Zuma had tried doing that to me, I'll fight back. And
Yeah, I definitely would have. And if he'd done it to a dog, maybe a dog would have fought back, or a bigger animal. He wouldn't be doing it to a lion, would he?
but it's just cowardly. Like I'm not gonna say
Yeah.
anything. I'm not gonna make a joke out of it. But obviously, him and me will be about the same size. Obviously, probably a bit more muscular. But listen, I've been in the ring. Like, I'll fight back. And obviously, if I punch you back, it's going to hurt a lot more than a cat. So that's just how I see these people on YouTube, the commenting. I don't actually care, But something I would try and do. Like, I do want to try and do some work with dog shelters, cat shelters. Like, I've been watching a lot of these videos. Is that something? I don't know. Obviously, I know you've got a lot of demands in your time, but is that something you would ever try and get into? Try and do stuff outside of boxing?
If I had time, I would love to. I'd love to adopt a dog. I really, really, really want a dog, but with the amount I'm out the house, it's just not fair to get one. And I know some people that foster dogs, so that would be nice to take in like rescue dogs and foster them and rehab them a bit, and then let them go to their forever homes once they've been rehabbed. So that would be amazing. Yeah, it would be nice to do a bit of work. Or do something with shelters, like volunteer to help out at rehoming shelters. That would be nice. If I ever had the time to sort of give up some evenings or weekends, yeah.
Okay, but obviously we'll see how it goes. Don't want to overload you with information. I tell you, I'll ask you a good question. I'll ask you something about sort of, boxing business. I don't know if Steve's ever sort of mentioned this to you, but it's quite obvious. Have you noticed in boxing, the more famous you are, the bigger numbers you can do, the more opportunities you get, the nicer people like Eddie Hearn treat you.
Yeah, I mean, it's business sense, isn't it? If you're a boxer who's got more followers, who's better known, is doing the bigger fights, you're going to get preferential treatment because you're bringing in more numbers, you're selling tickets, and bringing more people to the fights and getting more publicity for everyone. So it's business, isn't it, really? Like, the small hall, lower level you are, you have to work harder to get that recognition, because you're not bringing in as much money. That's what it comes down to. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that necessarily. If you're a good fighter and you're on the stage and a lot of people want to follow your journey, then yeah, you're going to get better treatment. It's the same through every sport, really. The grassroots lower level doesn't have as much publicity because people don't necessarily care as much, or find it as interesting. Whereas the bigger it becomes, the more people want to pay attention. Yeah, that's sort of my view of it at the moment. Obviously, I've not been in the professional game for that long, but it's just like business sense, really, from like the promoter side of things.
Yeah, of course. So what have you ever thought about? Obviously, I know you're in the early stages of your career. For me, there's loads of things I'm doing. Obviously, I've sparred Kell Brook. It's got over 15,000 views. I didn't do very well, but I can say in the amount of time it's been up, I've seen IFL videos which have been up in the same amount of time, and it's got more views than some of their videos. So I'm trying to get more people to spar me. Clarissa Shields' promoter said I can spar her, because if I come to America, email us, we'll let you spar on camera. That's just some of the stuff I'm trying to do. Have you already started thinking about, and I'm a great talker, because I don't want to make this video about me, so I'm trying to restrict how much I talk, but have you thought about stuff you want to try and do over time to build yourself up, build your profile up, build up your personality?
It's definitely something I'm starting to think about more. Just to begin with, I think I took it for granted how much you have to put yourself out there and how hard you have to work to get your face out and to be known. When you obviously have come from a very limited amateur background, like the girls who fought for GB have a bigger following because they've been there, they've done it. and they've already got a career to start with. So this year is my aim. I want to get this fight over and done with, try and promote myself as much as I can for my next fight. And then after that, I do need to sit down and try and work out what I can do that's a bit different, and to get my face out there and to try and draw more of an interest into my boxing. But it is a big thing now, like, to try and promote yourself and get more of a following of people to buy tickets and watch you fight and support you on your journey, and sponsors. There's a whole thing behind just the boxing and the training that you do. And there's a lot that goes into it that you have to think about. So I need to think about it more than what I have been, because it makes a big difference to your career, I think.
I'd say briefly, I don't think it's complicated. I'm sure you can always talk to Steve and can always get my advice if you want. What I'd say to you, it's not really difficult. I mean, you don't need to sign. I've had fighters like Jack Hughes. They've told me about dodgy things they've signed with media companies. We're going to do this, I'm going to do that. You don't have to sign with dodgy people. I'd say for you, just start making friends in boxing, get to know some of the other fighters, get to know the likes of Sandy Ryan and people like this, and just start from there. Just build up your friendships. And I've seen pictures of Hannah Rankin's been sparring with Terry Harper. So
I saw that.
Get into those situations, and then you just take it from there. They'll know who you are. They'll message you. You got Tasha Jonas who's fighting next weekend. And me and her know each other quite well now. She hasn't followed me on Twitter yet, but she sees my videos. She replies most of the time. So I say just start from there. Start getting to know people, becoming a more talkative person. Just it will just grow from there. Have you been able? Can you explain to people how difficult it is to? I know we've touched on it, but how difficult is it to sort of train and work at the same time? And have you managed to find any sponsorship help yet?
It's very hard trying to fit everything in. I haven't got any sort of permanent sponsors. A couple of friends, their companies have sponsored me for my last fight and this fight, which has helped me get like my fight gloves and my fight shorts, and help pay for some of my physio and things like that. So that's helped out in that respect, but I haven't got any sponsors who sort of continuously agree to sponsor me. So that is something that I'm on the lookout for. But working and training, it's tough. I think there's a lot of people who do it, getting up at 4:30, 5 in the morning, doing some sort of cardio before work, and then quickly having a shower, a coffee, driving to the station, hopping on a train for an hour's train journey, then doing a full day's work, and then back to the gym for a few hours, home, eat, shower, bed. It doesn't leave a lot for anything, but it's what I've chosen to do. So I'm not going to complain about it, but it's hard. I think not everyone, but people who don't understand boxing sometimes take it for granted. It's a tough lifestyle, and there's a lot of sacrifice that goes in. Obviously, it's a sacrifice you decide to make. So it's what I've decided to do, but it's hard trying to fit in the training and the job. And like I said, try and maintain relationships with friends and family. I'm constantly walking around with bags under my eyes, looking tired, and people asking me, is that a black eye? I'm like, no, that's probably just the bags under my eyes from where I'm tired. Fight camp lasts it'll be 9 weeks. 10 weeks I'll be in fight camp, and then I can have a week or two to not get up at the crack of dawn and train before work. I can just train after work. So it's not going to be forever. It's 10 weeks and then I can chill out for a bit. It's just one of those things that you just have to do. It'll be worth it. I have to tell myself my opponent's probably training, so I definitely need to be. I need to make sure that I'm as fit as I can be and I have no regrets when I get in that ring. So that's what drives me to keep me going, get up and get that spinning session done.
You just, yeah, I just say, you just take it a day at a time, and then just develop your mind as it comes. Just learn to accept it. Learn, if you look at other jobs, I mean, I'm sure there's jobs that are, obviously boxing's very hard, but I'd say obviously it can't be as hard as being a soldier. I mean, you got to go away for months at a time, and
Yeah.
they get it done. So I just say, just study the sport and just decide if this is what you want. I'd look at the other fighters and say, if you want to achieve what they achieve, trying to think of an example, it's like, if you look at Taylor Serrano, if you look at how many belts they have between them, you just got to decide, is that what I want? Am I willing to make the sacrifice for it? And if that's what you want to do, then you just accept that you do what it takes. For me, I think the
Yeah,
biggest
exactly.
challenge, the biggest challenge for me is probably watching what I eat. But I just also, I want to win. Like, I'm 31 now, and also I want to do things. So you just do it regardless. But what would you like to do to have fun? What are some of your hobbies?
What are my hobbies? Like I mentioned earlier, artwork. When I get the time to paint, I find that quite relaxing, or I quite like doing like online life drawing classes.
Oh wow.
There's a company where, yeah, that's quite interesting. I haven't been out to do any in person, but they do ones on Zoom online, so they're quite fun to do. I mean, I'm not sure it's a hobby, but sometimes some DIY.
Okay.
Yeah. What else do I do? It's mainly, yeah, artwork is my hobby. And then like my horse. So if I've ever got like a spare hour or two, I just go down the yard and go see my horse and just spend like a couple hours with her. I just find it really relaxing and really chilling. People probably think I'm mad, just like chatting away to an animal, but I tell her my problems and I find that quite relaxing. Um, yeah, that's it really.
But most people are probably mad themselves, so I don't really judge anyone. I listen to what people have to
Yeah.
say, and well, I mean, I'm not really one that talks to animals, but like, I understand why people would, because you can just sort of pour your heart, you can just say whatever you want, and you're not being judged.
Yeah, it's like I have a full-on conversation with her and she never answers me back or tells me I'm wrong. So it's a nice one-way conversation. I get the answers I want and need.
Well, that sounds amazing. So what, you got a horse, a fully grown horse?
Yeah, she used to be a racehorse. I got her from a racing yard that I used to work at. And so she had a couple fights, a couple races, but she wasn't good enough. And she didn't particularly enjoy the racehorse lifestyle. So yeah, I've had her for like 8 years now. So she's retired. Just lives in a field, an expensive field ornament. But yeah.
Do you ride her?
No,
Or
not anymore.
she doesn't
I
like
just
her?
I don't have the time to fit in that as well. So yeah, she literally just lives in a field and that's all she does. Lives in a field, eats, stuffs her face, and is happy as Larry.
But that's an idea for you. You should try and do videos about her. That's something I'm sure people would want to watch. I'll give you. I've seen some
Yeah,
of these videos where people rescue cats. Like, they'll see cats lying around. Like, some of these videos get millions of views. Like, there's
really.
this one cat, very aggressive, and then over the course of a week, the guy managed to get it to let him pet it, and it got millions of views. And I'm like, I need to try and find some feral cats, rescue them, and
Yeah,
you know,
you used to get that footballer's cat off him.
I think they've taken it off him anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Some cats are vicious. I'm not so much a cat person, so I'm not highly allergic to them. But
Right. Okay.
yeah, unfortunately, like my friend's got two cats, and whenever I go around her house, I have to take so many antihistamines. I'm just constantly like sneezing, and my eyes swell up. It's yeah, cats are a problem for me.
That's
I
all
end
right.
up looking like Will Smith in Hitch.
Hitch, I remember
Neat.
you looked in the mirror, the allergic reaction. I've seen it.
Yeah, that's how I feel whenever I'm around cats for too long.
So I guess I probably wouldn't go around your friends if I was you, but as I say, it's not complicated. Just find different ways to develop your personality, and I'm sure that's something people find interesting, to own a horse. Yeah, I live in London. You don't see horses unless it's police horses. You don't see them that often.
Yeah, I
Do you
guess
like
I
to?
take it for granted.
Let's say imagine, I don't know, you could get boxers to come down and meet your horse, like, make a video. Who knows? I'm sure I'd be interested. I'm sure a lot of other boxers would be. Depends on the person, but I'm sure some would be interested to meet a horse. But we'll see where that goes. Do you like to travel, Juliet? What sort of
Yeah,
countries have you been to?
I do. Oh, I'm dying for a nice summer holiday, if I'm honest. I like to travel to countries where you can do stuff. Like I said, I can't relax. But Madeira was a place where we went a few years ago that we really liked. We went whale watching, which was really, really fun. And then canyoning, where you like climb down the river and like down little waterfalls and like through the canyon. So that was really cool. And then been to Italy. We did a tour of Italy over 2 weeks. So went to Florence and Milan, and then we went to the big Maranello Ferrari museum. So that was beautiful. And then went to, where else did we go? Went to Rome, the Colosseum, and places like that. So I like to travel to places where you can do things like sightsee. Been to Dubai a couple of times with my parents, which was quite nice. Going
Okay.
in there, like the big shopping mall with their aquarium in, that was really fun. That was really nice. Where else have we been? Yeah, I think that they're the places that Madeira I've really loved, because there's loads to do there. But at the moment, just traveling around the UK. So I spend a lot of time going to the Cotswolds, which is such a beautiful place. So that's really nice there.
Yeah, but Rome, you should have. Sounds amazing. What's the I've been reading a lot of books about Julius Caesar. Like, I love the sort of Roman history. How long were you there for? What did you do in Rome?
I think we were there for about 3 days, I think. So we went to the Colosseum,
Mhm.
obviously.
Yeah, obviously, yeah.
Um, and then there are some other ruins. I can't remember the name because I'm terrible with history and names, but there are some other ruins like next to the Colosseum. We went around them. And then there's the Spanish Steps. Is that in Rome? And all that, those water. I don't know. I
I've
think
never
so.
heard
The
of this.
Spanish
Yeah,
Steps. I
never
might be
heard of.
wrong, but
Yeah.
and then there's some waterfalls and fountains, not waterfalls, fountains in Rome. Yeah, it was mainly the Colosseum was the main thing. I think we were there for it might have not even been 3 days, a couple of days, but the Colosseum was the big one that we went to. And then, yeah, and then we went off to Naples after that. But we went in July, so I would not recommend going to Italy in July. It was so hot, especially in the Colosseum because there's no shade because there's no roof, obviously. So it was hot. It was at least 40 degrees a lot of the time. So if you ever go to Italy, don't go in July because it is unbearably hot. Unless you're fine with the heat, which is great, but I'm not. I'm really not good with heat. I'm far too
No,
pale for that.
I can imagine. No, it sounds amazing. Obviously, yeah, just let us know how your future travels go. Maybe try and get some of it on film. And
Yeah.
it just sounds amazing. I've been to a couple of European countries, but I'm just waiting for the whole COVID restrictions to end now. Um, I'd love to go to Russia, but I don't know if a
Yeah.
war kicks off. I don't want to
Maybe
get.
not at the moment. Probably not the best idea.
I
Might
know
be
what I'm
cheap
doing.
though.
I mean, I want to try and do videos on it, but I just don't want to get stuck there. That'll be the
Yeah,
only.
I think, yeah, they might cancel flights to and from Russia if things continue the way they're going.
Yeah, it'd be nice if I could interview Vladimir Putin someday.
That would be cool, yeah. I tell you where's really lovely. Canada. I went to Canada in February 2020, so just as COVID was kicking off. I was really lucky. That's a beautiful place, Canada. We went in February for skiing, but that's a really, if you can get over there, I'd recommend that. It's such a nice place, and everyone's so friendly over there, like really, really friendly and welcoming. So yeah, that was a really cool place to go.
Sounds really good, but I don't want to take up too much of your time, and I guess we might as well finish on the obvious question. So tell us about your upcoming fight, your call. Tell us about your opponent and what we how we can get tickets from you and what we can expect.
Yeah, so 12th of March is my next fight. So in 4 weeks' time at York Hall. To get tickets, either message me on Instagram. My name is Jules Horwood Boxing, or message my coach, which is Andy, and his Instagram is Evolve Elite 2019. I haven't got an opponent at the moment. I'm hoping to get one soon. That would be nice. So, but regardless of who I'm fighting, you can expect a on the front foot aggressive fight. I might not seem it when I speak, but I'm a pretty aggressive fighter. I like to come forward and go for it. Like I like a tear up. But I'm going to do a lot more boxing this time around. My first fight, it was war. So this time around, a lot of boxing, but I'm planning to throw some heavy shots and do some damage. As we all say. Yeah.
That's good. Do the damage. Obviously, don't forget defense. But tell us quickly. Obviously, maybe it happens a lot, but even matchroom shows, you see, like in the week of the fight, they still haven't got an opponent. Can you explain to people who might not know why does that happen? I mean, literally, it could be a week of a fight, four days to go, and it's always to be announced. Can you explain why sometimes it's hard securing that opponent?
It's hard mainly because of just the pool of women at the moment. So my first fight, I fought at super lightweight. And in the UK, there are only 5 women, including me, in that weight category. And 2 of those women are Chantel Cameron and Sandy Ryan. So they're not in my league. I'm not at their level. So that leaves me with 3 other women. I've already fought one of them. We asked to fight the other one, and that hasn't, nothing's happened with that. They didn't want to fight. So I'm dropping down to lightweight, but there's still not that many girls in the UK. So it's hard to find opponents. And obviously people have got fights coming up themselves. And to get girls in from Europe, it costs a lot of money at the moment because of Brexit and COVID. Like it's difficult to get opponents, whereas with men, there's loads of male boxers in the pro ranks, but there's not so many in the female ranks. So it's hard to find opponents just because there aren't that many. And that's what it comes down to. But I'm just gonna be patient and wait and not let it affect me. I'm gonna train so I'm ready for when I have an opponent. And that's all I can do, really.
Well, that's all right. I can understand it happening. And so actually, say, last quick question. I know I said that, but following on from there, do you ever see yourself trying to build up rivalries, calling people out to try and build some momentum?
Maybe once I've got some fights under my belt, I might, but I think I'm just gonna stay in my own lane, do my own thing at the moment and focus on me. I'm not really into rivalry. I need to build up a bit more of like a tenacious, I don't know. It's not, I've got nothing to sort of go for people with, or like I've had one fight. I don't need to be making enemies right now.
Okay. Well, I'll say quickly, I mean, if it was me, but I just look at it. Also, I've had a few white collar fights. I've called out a few people as well, which has worked. I'd say it's nothing personal. I wouldn't call you an enemy, but I think Eubank used to put it very well, where he says, Nigel Benn used to hate him, and he said, "I don't hate Nigel. I just want to beat you and use you as a stepping stone to raise my standard of living." So that's just my advice. It's something you can think
That's
about in
fair
time.
enough. Yeah.
I don't have to dislike you, but if it's a situation where it's been a few months, it's a bit hard to get a fight, then I'm available, you're available. Let's get it on, you know. But it's something to think about in time anyway.
Yeah, definitely.
But anyway, thanks for your time, and
No,
hopefully,
thank you for chatting to me. Appreciate it.
sure, I'll see you at your. I'll be there on the night, and hopefully, I look forward to speaking to you in future, Juliet.
Yeah, definitely. We'll definitely speak soon.
Anytime.
Right. Thank you. See you
Take care.
later.